Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to this session. Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is therapeutic communication. So, under this part, we have three important objectives. So, at the end of this presentation, you will be able to describe the importance of communication in our daily clinical activity, and you will also be able to list and recognize factors that affect the process of communication. And at last, you are also expected to explain the principles of effective communication. So as we all know, communication is something that we do it on a daily basis, and people have been practicing it from the very beginning of human existence. But still to date, there is no single definition for communication. What can be generalized from the definitions, which were stated by different scholars at different times, is that communication should create a mutual understanding between the source of information and the receiver of that information. So that for communication to be effective, there has to be common understanding between the two parties. And when the communication is effective, actually, it's said the way how we communicate with the patient, with the person actually, is the way how we treat them, especially in the pre-hospital setup. The role of communication is irrepressible, and we have to practice good techniques and principles that can enhance understanding between ourselves and the patient. When we take a look at the types of communication, it can be simply grouped as verbal communication, where the words are principally used for exchange of idea, and non-verbal communication, where body language, including facial expressions, gesture, are commonly used for transmission of idea and information between the source and the receiver of that information. So communication can happen anywhere, can be conducted between any individuals, and we might be involved in a communication with a patient attendant, with bystander, or with another stakeholders. So involving all those different stakeholders means there are different factors that should be considered when planning communication strategy. So those factors can be grouped as social factors, for example. And so in the social factor, culture, religion, education, and social status of the person by itself can affect the delivery of information to the receiver. And age of the person is another factor. So communicating with a child and communicating with an adolescent is quite different. And even communicating with an adult and communicating with an elderly is quite different. So we have to be cognizant of those differences. The language we use for communication is also important. And we have to be selective with whom we are talking and choose an appropriate word by avoiding jargons and other abbreviations while talking with patients and patient attendants particularly. And the patient's condition should also be assessed before commencement of any communication process. So the patient in pain, for example, will not have the appetite to listen to what we are talking while they are suffering from the effect of pain. So we have to assess the pain first before we start any communication with that person. And the level of consciousness of the person, the sensory deficit, and other factors can also play a crucial role. And the general message here is always consider the circumstances that can actually or potentially affect the success or failure of our communication. So this is a very good example and scenario of a Syrian child who raised up his hands for a surrender while a photo journalist was taking a photo shot actually. The photojournalist failed to explain what he was doing, and the child ended up in this psychological trauma. So we have to explain everything to the receiver, to the recipients of information. And actually, to have that effective communication, we should first establish trust between ourselves and the patient or the person with whom who is talking with us, we should use a variety of verbal and non-verbal approaches, and we should avoid jargon. The abbreviations should not be used frequently, and vague expressions should be avoided, and inflammatory words again should be avoided, and we should use clear, simple messages to deliver the intended message. So communication, apart from communicating with the patient and the attendants, is also, we are also expected to communicate with different stakeholders, particularly when there are reportable events in the scene of an accident, for example, or it could be a different scenario indeed. So when there is an infectious disease outbreak, for example, when there are crime scenes, when there is a mass casualty, and when there is physical abuse or sexual abuse, those things should be documented and reported to the concerned bodies on time, and failure to report them might have legal consequences. So in general, what can be a take-home message is that signifies the importance of communication. Communication is as important as breathing, and we should take care as such. Thank you very much.